Don't trip, you know? I know things is hard right now. You looking for a job. You out there hustling. Money gonna come your way, just don't trip.
So we had a great question. Was Orlando Anderson arrested for the murder of Tupac Shakur? So we have the Tim Brennan affidavit, which was mostly written by Reggie Wright Sr. Now, Reggie Wright Sr., we've seen, is on the MGM video. And how do we know that MGM video has Reggie Wright Sr.? We're going to break that down in a later video. But it's a huge conflict of interest. We have the former mayor of Compton who says that those guys were working security for the MGM hotel in a previous fight. And so it's a huge conflict of interest for the Compton Police Department to even be involved in this murder investigation in the first place. So what do we have? We have some huge theatrics. And what are those huge theatrics? We have this joint operation with multiple law enforcement agencies, the police, the sheriffs, the Compton Police, other agencies. We're searching houses and what have you. We've heard that there was a pre-raid that happened so that they could see what they're looking for. The only person's house that isn't searched is White Boy, or Danny Patton, who's named in the confession letter. His address is left off. All of these theatrics, and they happen to they find Orlando Anderson and they arrest him for the murder of Tupac Shakur. Now, there's a big difference between being arrested for a murder and being charged with a murder. And it was their hope, the Compton Police Department, that they would arrest Orlando Anderson and that they would serve him up to the Las Vegas Police Department, and that he would be tried and convicted of the murder of Tupac Shakur, and that this would be the end of it. They hand him off to Las Vegas. Las Vegas has no interest in him, and because they have no interest in him, they let him go. He was never charged with the murder of Tupac. He was, however, arrested, and he was handed up, and he was subsequently let go. And why? Because he had an airtight alibi. He went to the bar, and after the bar, he went to his room, and the Las Vegas Police Department, they had seen video surveillance that showed that Orlando Anderson had an airtight alibi. Nobody would want to wrap a bow on this and put it away as quickly as the Las Vegas police would, and they knew that it just wasn't the truth, and they weren't going to head down that road. And anybody that tries to obfuscate this is just heading down the wrong path. Orlando Anderson was not the shooter. Orlando Anderson had nothing to do with killing Tupac Shakur. He was a patsy. He was the one that they wanted to pin it on. And since we've had the arrests of Reggie Wright Jr. and Reggie Wright Sr., it does beg the question about all of their cases. Two people have come forward with information about two cases that Reggie Wright Sr. worked on, where now we have fruit from a poisonous tree. We have a corrupt officer who the Compton Police Corruption Report says wanted to know information about raids before they happened. Reggie Wright Jr.'s name is in Keefe-d's Payo book, and so this drug trafficking that they now stand accused of looks like it dated all the way back to the Death Row Records time. And like Rafael Perez, Nino Durden, David Mack, Officer Kevin Gaines, what do we know about them? That evidence was planted on people who were innocent, and cases were put on people that were in the way. So now all of the cases that involve Reggie Wright Sr. or Reggie Wright Jr. need to be looked into, and we need to determine whether or not the people that they put away were actually guilty. All of those cases should be looked at. Innocence Project should be contacted. If you have information about cases, we already have two cases We need to get that information off to the Innocence Project or some of these other nonprofits that do this good work. Tom Mesereau told me the other day that he also does pro bono work. I think most of his is done out of Mississippi, but we need to find people to do pro bono legal work and make sure that all of these cases that these guys touched were in fact righteous busts and that these are in fact guilty people. It's an opening for people that have been incarcerated unjustly to get a shot at looking at getting an appeal.
Shit, man. My people, man. Struggle been real too long.